Hello, good evening, neighbors, friends, brothers and sisters. Welcome. This is Faisal Hassan, your member provincial parliament for York Southwestern, joining you again another Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. to hear your concerns and also to also update you about the week's work as well. And as I promised during the pandemic, that I will be available to you to come to you here. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge at this time the land that we now know as York Southwestern is a traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. Welcome, folks. Welcome for joining me this afternoon. And those who are joining also Facebook, welcome. And those who are joining also Twitter, welcome. And those who are also joining Instagram, welcome as well. And those who are also joining me on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe it as well. Well, this week, folks, Ford took a frontline healthcare heroes, as you know, to court. So for-profit long-term care homes could pay them less. And it is clear that Doug Ford is only out to protect his buddies for a profit long-term care friends. His buddies. Thankfully, he lost his fight to block frontline women healthcare workers from getting fair wages. And that was a good news. Also, the Supreme Court of Canada upheld a 2019 tribunal decision in favor of the Bay Equity Act, which the Ford government has been fighting to overturn. Well, yesterday's Supreme Court ruling to uphold the Pay Equity Act is a momentous victory for women in Ontario generally, and specifically for those in the healthcare industry that have been frontline heroes and champions in the pandemic. And he himself have called them a champion, our heroes, he called it. But when it comes to fair pay and pay equity, he is against it. And this also a victory for women, and it's a victory for our province. This ruling could not have happened without the advocacy of women in healthcare field and in hard work of the SEIU and the Ontario Nurses Association, who have all shined a light on the sexist and discriminatory practices of governments and corporations that undervalue women in the care industry and deny them their fair pay and fair wages, and which also their dues. It is appealing that Doug Ford took women who are frontline healthcare workers to court to defend for-profit long-term care homes, looking to increase their own bottom line, their profits, by paying this woman less than they deserve. A disproportionate number of healthcare workers are BIPOC women, and healthcare workers lost their lives during the pandemic were proportionately BIPOC, and those who have also lost, we've lost members of our community as well. And you know that in our own community, frontline workers, large numbers come from our community of York Southwestern. Well, yesterday's victory comes at a moment when our healthcare sector is in crisis, when nurses and PSWs and other healthcare workers are leaving the field in droves because of the troubled working conditions, because of the Ford government and the Liberals before them have denied them fair wages and permanent and secure jobs. Doug Ford and his for-profit nursing home executive buddies must drop all the further attempts to deny women in healthcare and the equitable pay they deserve. And this, folks, was a great victory for all of us, especially a woman and also our province. So that's very important. Those who are just joining, welcome, folks, and from Instagram and also Twitter and YouTube and also a Facebook page as well. This week, folks, also we celebrated Thanksgiving, and I hope you had an opportunity to gather safely with friends and family and celebrated all that we have to be thankful for. I'm thankful that families across York South-Western have gathered around a dinner table this year. I'm grateful for the tireless contributions of our heroes, our healthcare workers, BSWs, teachers, and all of the frontline heroes that keep our community moving. I'm thankful that young people have been able to return to school and appreciate every opportunity to inch slowly towards a return to normal. And welcome, folks. Yeah. And above all, I'm thankful to you for your commitment to beating COVID-19 and for trusting me to serve as your member provincial parliament for York South-Western. And if you want also to support, my efforts to continue the work I'm doing for our community, you can actually visit ysw.ontariondp.ca, and there you can actually contribute as much as you can, and everything you contribute will be given back to you as credit at the return of the tax time. So that's also an update quickly of the week. Also, folks, I have also sent out about our Youth Advisory Council, or my Faisal Hassan MPP Youth Council for our community for York South-Western, and applications for the second annual Member Provincial Parliament Faisal Hassan Youth Council for York South-Western are now open, and our young people in our community from the ages of 16 to 24 can actually join. And this will be the second annual. We already had a fantastic members of our community, young and talented young men and women in our community that are doing a fantastic job. They have begun as the MPP Faisal Hassan's Youth Council January of this year, and they are continuing to do a fantastic job. Well, folks who are joining, Ndp Canada, thank you for joining, and thank you, and thank you for the wonderful job you're doing. And that says, I love your work, and says, I am a huge Ndp family. Well, brother, welcome, and sisters, welcome as well. Thank you for joining me this afternoon on Instagram, and here also others also saying, I love you, man. Well, thank you. I love you too, brothers and sisters. And I'm going to work very hard to earn your trust and confidence to continue the work, and also to work together to form an NDP government next year, a government that Premier Andrea Horvath leads. And she's ready, we are ready, and we need to bring Ontario for the better, and we are ready. So join us, and you can also, if you are ready too, you can visit ysw.ontariondp.ca, and there you can actually contribute. You can sign up as a volunteer. You can also contribute financially, whatever you can, to help us get ready. Well, Yasser, thank you, Yasser, for joining me there. Well, I was talking about the applications for our second annual MPP Faisal Hassan Youth Council for our community, York South-Western, is open now, and our young people can join as well and put their applications as well. And the council provides an exciting opportunity for young people in our community of York South-Western to highlight ways our community can be better and identify ways we can support young people across this province. And if you young folks, if you're out there, and if you are a young person between the ages of of 16 to 14 to 24 and are interested in making an impact in our community or your community, you can also apply. I've already sent there on my newsletter, and I'll be able to also share more details for the weeks to come. So you can also submit that as well. Looking forward to reading as well. Well, thank you. Mahmoud Farah also joins, says, "Go NDP and let's go." Yes, let's go. Let us work together. And if you also want to join the NDP, you can actually go to yorksouthwestern.ontario.ndp.ca. There you can join, you can sign up, volunteer, you can actually donate there. And don't worry about every dollar counts. So, and that's the New Democrats, every dollar we add up is what we can actually fight together to fight for the issues important to the province of Ontario. Well, quickly, I'll take some questions, folks, from Facebook here. Hussein, welcome. And Hussein says, hello, Faisal should be concerned about technology and automation in terms of jobs loss to robots in the future. If so, how do we address it? Well, that's a very good question. I think the working people, as you know, in the 90s, because of the policies of previous governments, have actually taken jobs away from our community, like jobs like the manufacturing jobs, because of a free trade. And that was also something that actually created, we've lost all good paying jobs because of that. And now, of course, you're talking about robots and automations that are also taking jobs away from across the province. And definitely what we need to do is a couple of things. We need to prepare our young people and our workers ready for the future. And that is providing them the training necessary and also the shifting of the economy, making also that our young people who are going in universities and colleges also require an investment. And that is, as you know, I've also talked about here many times, the 2019, February 28, I tabled a motion about work integrating, and young people across our province supported it. They said that's exactly what they wanted and that's what they needed. And that motion was supported by the members of the legislature, but still the Ford government hasn't put resources. What it does is to provide young people the necessary experiences and skills for providing them internships, co-ops, and placements early on, so that when they graduate, young people from universities and colleges, they are asked for experience. And some of them actually, it took about 10 years, 5 years to learn a position or never land a position for their field of study. So what we need to do, we need to be smart. As you talk about the technology and automation, we have to provide young people the work and school working together, hand in hand. So work integration comes to place. And that's why I have put my motion, work integrating, to provide internships, paid internships, co-ops, and placements. And also those who are recent graduates, also it also includes those who are unemployed and those also who have also dropped out of high school and wandering around in the streets. They can also be brought back into also skilled trades where they could be also provided the training and also the jobs. And we can also focus creating a manpower where we can actually manage that kind of coordination to make sure our young people and our unemployed people are prepared for the jobs for the future. And I know that the technology is the way of the future, but we need to also talk about also jobs we can create, also with the environment, the clean industry, and so forth. So we will be able to also, government should be there to provide the training and also the vision to also make sure young people are in colleges and universities, but they are not gaining the jobs, because when they apply those jobs, they're asked experience. And I say again and again, how are we going to provide them the experience if we don't give them the experience while they are in school, colleges and universities, so that they go to school, and then when the schools is closed, then they can continue to work those companies that are also focusing their field of study. So they build a network, they build interactions with the middle managers, bosses, and they also put some references so that they will be able to know if this is actually their field. And they're not doing it for free as volunteers, they're going to be paid, and that way, when they graduate, they are able to actually find an employment. That's, I think, the way we are going to go. And NDP has the plan and the vision, but we need next year to form government. So in order to do that, you can join us and join me. And if you are from here in York South-Weston, you can also visit yorksouthwestern.ontarioNDP.ca. Also, you can visit faisalhassan.ca, and there also you can also see the work I'm doing as your member of provincial parliament here in our community of York South-Weston. Folks who have been just doing a lot of things here, comments here on Instagram, saying that I had one question. This gentleman says, Akash, and another one says, I cannot hear you. Can you hear me now? Can you please give me a follow-up? He says, I can't hear you. Can anyone hear me? Is that only you cannot hear me, but can others hear me too? Just let me know if you just thumbs up. Is it my mic? Okay. Well, let me see if I can fix the mic quickly. Just give me that. Let me see if I can fix that. Well, I need to then have a mic here. Well, let me get this quickly. Well, give me a minute. Let me see if I can fix this. I don't know. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now then? Can you hear me now? Just say. Others have said that they were able to hear me all along, but those who cannot hear me, folks from Instagram, are not able to hear me. But can you hear me now? You still cannot hear. Well, there's nothing I can do then from there. Probably is the issues with there. What about now? Can you hear me then? How about now there? Are you able to hear? Good. I think folks from Instagram cannot hear me, but I will try to just get one comment. Can you hear me now? Just let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? He cannot. So cannot. So I don't know. I'll just fix it is your end. The end is your end. I don't know what that is, but let me try here. Delete that. Just give me a minute. All right, let me end and come back then quickly for Instagram. Just give me a minute. I'll just end that. Just give me a minute. And see if I could do this. Okay. Okay. Okay, just I'm going to check what's the problem, folks here on Instagram. I know folks from other platforms can hear me fine. I'll just go back quickly and just give me a minute if they can hear me one more time. I'll just go quickly, just give me a minute. Okay, let's see if they can hear us quickly, and then they will join us now. And quickly here on Facebook, folks said people can hear me there. Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. So you can still hear me. That's good. So folks now will try to join me and see if they can hear me now. Can you hear me now then? A thumbs up. Just let me know. You can hear me now. Folks there, just let me know if you can hear me now. So folks, yes. Now, so I fixed that issue with that Instagram. Folks now can hear me. Well, folks, in recent weeks, the warm. Let me just set this quickly. Maybe there is good. You can see me clearly. Okay. The warm temperature and improving public health situations has allowed us more opportunities to meet with residents. It allowed me actually to meet more opportunities with you, to visit you as well, and also to meet with residents at the door. There is nothing I appreciate more than an opportunity to speak directly with constituents and hear their concerns firsthand. And that's also face to face. I can also like to hear your, your also suggestions and ideas right here every Friday. But every opportunity I have also, I want to come and see you every time I have time to come. So now they can hear me from there. The Instagram is good. As I have gone around the community, the persistence theme, folks, I hear is one of neglect in our community. Residents are disappointed by the lack of attention paid by this government and those before them. To the needs of our community of York Southwestern. Residents have solutions and governments have the resources. But what has been lacking is the type of advocacy this community deserves. One clear example of this is local concerns around transportation infrastructure, and it is impacts on local homes. Communities along the Highway 401 in the north of our community and farther south along the 400 and 401 and Black Creek corridor have been raising concerns about the conditions in the neighborhood for years. I have heard stories of residents being kept up by excessive noise as vehicles exit the highway. They have dealt with accidents involving vehicles breaching into their property and are frustrated by relentless speeding through local streets. They have become disheartened, not just because the problem persists, but because they feel they are being ignored and nothing has been done about it. And that is the record of the previous Liberal government and also the last 3 years. These problems directly affect community safety and quality of life and must not be ignored any longer. And this I have also this week I have written a letter to the Minister of Transportation, Honorable Caroline Maroney, expressing the desires of the community. And we need investments in safety barriers and noise walls to lessen the impact of noise pollution. We need improved infrastructure to maintain pedestrian safety and mitigate speeding in our neighborhoods. We need to ensure transportation infrastructure investments take the interests of the community members seriously and stop treating impacted communities as an afterthought. These are real concerns and they demand action. And I will be advocating on behalf of our community on these issues and raising the community's voices at the Ontario Legislature next week as I go back to the legislature. The ministry cannot ignore these concerns any longer, and I am prepared to work with them and to work also the Ministry of Transportation in any capacity to finally address these long-standing issues in the community. And this has gone before many years, the last 15 years, definitely, under Kathleen Wynne and Dalton McGuinty, and also now the last 3 years and 3 months and 15 days. And we need to do something about it. Also, the community of church area have also concerned about a lack of consultation. And I have talked about that also. And I know the issue is more about a municipal nature, but definitely, as you are a member of provincial parliament, I will be advocating to make sure that first and foremost you are consulted in any project that comes to your community. And this is no exception from our brothers and sisters, neighbors and friends on Church Street, because Church Street also is my community. That's also where I live. As you know, as I've lived here over 24 years now in our community. There's a lot of comments here on Instagram, and finally they can hear me. That's good. And Yasmin, thank you. And also Yasser says, how will you get the money to make housing more affordable? He continues to say, where will the NDP get the money to make housing more affordable? Well, I think government, the Ontario government already receives revenue, my friend. And what we need to do is to have a priority, a government that puts you first. And I've talked about in many discussions, conversations we had here, and I've talked about our plan. And if you haven't read it, you can actually do any engine search, Ontario Ndp Housing Plan. And our plan is very clear. It gives you so many options. And one of the options I really like is that it provides those who are making 200,000 and less the equity loans to put down payments for their first home. And we've seen people cannot even afford to rent, let alone to own it. So also providing also other ways of also making sure that also we also build more houses, such as, co-op, cooperatives, and others. And we know the history of these. They have been very successful and community-oriented, and that's the kind of a direction we need to provide, options and many options like that. But to also answer to your question, that the housing crisis actually has begun in 1996, when John Chrétien and Paul Martin and the Liberals were governing Canada. And because what they have done was they said they have no business in affordable housing, they have downloaded it to provincial jurisdictions. And what did Mike Harris and Dalton McGuinty and Ernie Eves and Kathleen Wynne do? They downloaded to municipalities. I know His Worship John Terry and city councillors, of course, the housing file, they have been struggling with, because they don't have the resources to tackle the housing. And this is a responsibility that the provincial government can take, and we need an NDP government to take that vision, and also for us to implement our housing plan. If you haven't read our housing plan, you can actually send me an email, fhassan-co at ndp.on.ca, or you could actually just do any engine search and put it Ontario NDP housing plan. Okay, or Ontario NDP housing plan, and there you will have it. And if you want me to send you a copy, just phone me, provide me your address for 416-243-7984, or you could actually write to me, fhassan-co at ndp.on.ca. And quickly he says, and welcome Andrea Barrett, our candidate in Brampton. She's doing a fantastic job there. If you are Brampton folks, shout out and support, sign up to help Andrea Barrett. We also have strong MPPs in Brampton, my friend, and also a fellow member of the Black Caucus, Kevin Yard, Brampton Wolf, and also Sarah Singh, Brampton Centre, Groton Singh, Brampton East, and she will be an addition to that. So folks, watch out on that. Brampton South. And also, yes, it says, just give the guy a follow and make his day. can you follow me on Instagram? Well, we will do that after I finish our discussion. I will do that to follow up with you. Don't worry, I'll do that and get in touch with you as well. And if you have also concerns, folks, please let me know. And those of you who are joining also on Facebook page, welcome. And also those who are also joining Twitter, welcome. And also on YouTube. If you're joining on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Well, Andrea Barrett, our candidate in Brampton South, thank you too, and thank you for joining us. And Ashkar says, congratulations, you got the follow. You got the follow. All right, we'll do that for you later, Akasha. And thank you for joining me also in Instagram as well. And thank you, Ifra. Thank you, Nasra. And thank you, those who are joining us also on Facebook. Folks, small businesses, I've talked about again and again. Small businesses in our community have struggled. They have struggled, and we know I've talked about also Perfect Plain. They had a fantastic coffee. They had excellent sandwiches. It was a community hub. Because of the pandemic, they are no longer there. And that's a sad them to go, I know they also created jobs. They have hired local members of our community. They have been doing a fantastic job, and there are many businesses in our community that could not make through the pandemic. With another restaurant in Weston is gone, and many small businesses has gone, and small businesses are struggling in our community. Well, folks, once again, the government has chosen to favor large corporate interest at the expense of small businesses in our community. The government's decision to keep restrictions in place for local restaurants while large indoor venues were made exempt left many in the industry scratching their heads. It is time the government gives small businesses a break. Businesses like those in the Kilsdale community have struggled with Eglinton Crosstown construction and need direct support, and more than the low impact investments they have received up to now. I continue to advocate on this front, and for more support for people like a third round of the small businesses support a grant that we need in our community. Also, folks, the minister, I have written in this regard in couple of occasions about Kilsdale, because the BIA there, Eglinton Hill BIA, is in the heart of Kilsdale, and they have been affected before the pandemic because of the Eglinton crosstowns. These constructions continued for quite some time, and now then the pandemic came, and they have struggled to survive. And now they have said that they're giving the BIAs 3 million. Now they have said that they have also paid 2 million already spent. For what? They spend for cleaning windows. We need transparency and accountability. And these are the things I will be asking the minister how to spend it. And not only our BIA, but the other 5 BIA, because there are 6 BIA that's affected. My colleague MPP Jill Andrews, Toronto's St. Paul's BIAs is also affected, and also the eastern, farther east to Toronto St. Paul's as well. And it doesn't make sense to say we are allocating $3 million for BIAs, and they are only doing to clean windows, and nobody knows how that has been spent. And now they say they have 1 million. Well, we need to make sure that especially the Eglinton Hill BIA that affected this, that be supported directly. They have asked them, they don't need their windows being cleaned. They do that every day for themselves. They need a relief. And that is what they have asked for, a direct support. And I think here, by saying that they've already spent 2 million just washing windows, to me, we need transparency and accountability. And businesses that have struggled, we can't afford to spend money like that. And I think these are the things I'm going to be talking about when I go back to ask them questions the Honorable Minister Caroline Maroney, and the Minister of Transportation. Well, I see here Stephen Mensah, who is also doing a fantastic job in our community, have just joined us on Instagram. Thank you, and keep up the great work, Stephen Mensah. He is the Toronto Youth Council. You must have seen him speaking about for young people on the media and CB24 and others, and we are proud of the work Stephen Mensah is doing in our community. And thank you for joining us, brother. I appreciate for joining me this evening, rather. Thank you for joining us. Well, thank you, those who have joined. And Michael says, unite people against the bullshit hoax, he says. Well, thanks for your comment. I welcome all your comments, folks. I want to hear, your suggestions, your ideas. Please, if you don't have the time to put your comments on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or YouTube, just also email me fhassan-co@ndp.on.ca. Well, Frank have just joined and says, hello, Brother Faisal. Have you heard about Conservative MP from United Kingdom, David Ames, who was stabbed and killed while meeting his constituency at a church in his district? If offered, would you request a security detail to remain safe in York Southwestern? Well, we are so sorry for the loss of the member from the House of Commons in United Kingdom, and we share a sincere sympathy for the loss of his family. And I haven't had this, but for sharing with me on this, it's really very sad. And we also send our sincere condolences to him and the family, and also to the people of Great Britain, whom we share a lot. This is also a sad, but I don't know the details of this and the details of what happened there. Because of that reason, we don't need to react to this, but I think we need also to sympathize and also send condolences to the families and the communities of that area, and also to Great Britain, and also to the House of Commons in United Kingdom. But thank you for sharing us this sad news and the loss of MP, a representative member of Parliament of Great Britain, David Ames. This is the first time I'm hearing it, so thank you for sharing that as well. Well, thank you for joining, folks. And folks, I know that many of you have talked to me about childcare, and we have large working families, young families in our community that have been having childcare a big issue for them, and making it a 10-day childcare is a commitment I'm fighting, folks, to make sure the Dark Fort signs negotiations with the federal government, so that we can implement immediately, so that we can make childcare once and for all affordable, and $10 a day childcare here in Ontario. And the government continues to delay efforts towards achieving a $10 per day childcare agreement with the federal government. Parents in our community have struggled with a lack of access to decent, affordable childcare in our community, and addressing this issue is a priority for me and for our community of York Southwestern. And I'm urging, and I will continue to pressure the government to get a deal done and end Ontario's long record of disappointment and high cost in childcare. And many members of our community said this is exactly what they need, and this is what you have also told the Liberal candidates and all candidates in the federal election. And as your member provincial parliament, I am ready to work our federal counterpart and the Ford Conservatives to get this done, because it is an important, and we have been waiting for 30 years, the Liberal promises of childcare for 30 years, and nothing has done. And now it's an opportunity to get it done. And if Ford is not going to do it, we will do it.
an NDP government will implement it immediately, headed by Andrew Horvat. We will do it immediately, but also now we have an opportunity for a couple of weeks, I think another 5 months to get it done as the Ontario legislature before we go to the election. And welcome, folks, those who are just joining Instagram, and those also who are joining us Twitter, Facebook, and also YouTube. I'll try also to put more platforms to connect, more platforms to join you, to come to you on your forum or your platform, so we can also have a conversation with you. Bring your coffee or tea or any beverages you like, so that we can also hear your concerns. Well, thank you, folks, for joining. And I know also long-term care is a huge crisis, and we know the Liberals and the Conservatives have been focusing on profit and privatization of it. And I know that there is no money to make on the backs of our seniors, and we must remove a profit out of the long-term care and home care as well. And I was also pleased to learn this week that my colleague, a member of provincial parliament from London Fernshaw, Teresa Armstrong, reintroduced the Long-Term Care Act. And this act will legislate 4 hours of hands-on care per day for residents in long-term care. The bill has passed second reading with all party support. I'm urging the government to move the bill forward without delay and pass the bill immediately, because we owe it to our seniors. And seniors have struggled, and we have to spend also every dollar service and care for our seniors. Well, folks, those who are joining are welcome. And you see, we have you've said that you needed for me to be accessible and during the pandemic, and we have said that Saturdays, you say, is the best time to meet from 3 to 5, and that was in 2020. And also this summer, you guys have said that that evenings on Fridays is the best time to actually meet. And we have switched to Fridays from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And as we also go into a winter, and as we also get closer to the fall and the winter, and definitely you will have plenty of time at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. to join together and to hear your concerns as well, and also your stories as well. You can also share with me as well, and if you have to also share if you have any or if you have any other concerns as well, you can also write to me, fhassan-co@ndp.on.ca. Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you, those of you who are joining Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed on our YouTube, please do so, because we will be able to notify, give you notifications when I am speaking at the legislature, and you can also hear and also able to connect that way what I'm doing at the legislature. And if you have any concerns, you can also share with me as well. And yes, someone here is saying that I think his name is Handal, and he says that follow me. Well, I'll follow you after I finish my conversation with the community, and don't worry about that. We'll do that. And also, folks, I know that I was also speaking to you this week, some of you from stockyards, and there I know that you have complained about the smells, the air, the pollution, and all of that. And as you know, that we need clean air, clean water, and to make sure that also the businesses are also a responsible business in the community, so that that the community also residential and businesses cannot go hand in hand. We have to make sure that the residential is a residential and businesses is also businesses. So definitely, as a member of provincial parliament, I have raised these issues with the Minister of the Environment and Conservation, and we have asked to do testing on the soil and the air. And even though they come back that they're saying it's okay, but we do believe, and you have told me that also this needs to be also continued testing of it because of this smell, etc. And definitely, I will be raising that as well. So it's also something I have also spoken at the legislature before, and I'll continue to do so as long as I am as your member of provincial parliament for York Southwestern. Well, Jerry Grossi, welcome. Issa, welcome. And Abdul says higher insurance rate is a big problem in our communities, especially York Southwestern. Indeed, that's true. And Abdul says again, I know you will fight for your constituents. Well, thank you. Definitely. Let's talk about the auto insurance. Auto insurance, our current critic is my colleague, Kevin Yard. He's a member of provincial parliament of Brampton North. And before him was Tom Rokosevich, also the auto insurance critic. And before him was Grutan Singh, was the auto insurance critic. And I have worked closely, three of them, and also working closely now the current auto insurance Kevin Yard, a member of provincial parliament for Brampton North. And we had together, Kevin Yard, MPP for Brampton North, and myself, we had a virtual town hall meeting to talk about auto insurance. And we know that we've talked about at the legislature, we have introduced bills, at least 3 bills and motions, 3 motions or more. We have done that. My mic is off. Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me? Just say so quickly. No, you can't. Okay.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now then? Can you hear me? You can hear me now? Can you hear me now then? Yeah? Just let me know if you can hear me now. Okay. You cannot hear me. Oh, okay. I don't know whether but everybody else can hear me. I hear you on Facebook, no problem. Okay, that's good. And no audio here. Just give me, I'll fix this. This is the second time this happened. I'll just fix it here and just make sure that it's an issue here. I'll fix it quickly before I answer their question. Just give me a minute. This is the first time we had this issue, but we'll fix it quickly. So just give me a minute. I'll do that quickly. And then I will also continue our conversation because the auto insurance is it's a big issue here in our community. Okay, so I will make sure now. Let me make sure here that we go here quickly. And I'll make sure that folks there can hear me. Okay, so if they hear me, then we will continue. Then I'll fix it quickly. Okay, just give me a minute because I am putting different platforms, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter and Facebook. So we're just making sure that they can hear me that as they just join quickly. And then I will also then answer his question. They can hear me now. That's good. So we'll continue then quickly. And as soon as they join, I'll just talk about the concern about the auto insurance. Yes, and the auto insurance, I was talking about that that we put bills, and I have spoken every motion and every bill tabled at the legislature concerning about auto insurance. And here is the problem. The problem is we have been targeted because our postal code. Because of that reason, our premier rates goes up because our postal code. And I said again and again, that is unacceptable. It's wrong. Okay? And we need to fix it. We need to paste auto insurance, your driving record, and the car you drive. That's it. And there have been also, during the pandemic, people were not driving, okay? They were parked their driveway, their cars. Because of this reason, we have also asked a relief for folks, a relief to give people 50% off, because no one is driving their car in the pandemic period, but still premiums went up again and continue. And also, I think, as also my colleague, when we had our town hall meeting on auto insurance, Kevin Yard, MPP from Brampton North, told me that there are some responsible auto insurance companies that have given people a break, and they are not also, some of them also, they're not also interested to consider also credit history, because there's also, he told us there are also things, now some auto insurance are considering about a credit history, which I think it's completely wrong. It has nothing to do with auto insurance to begin with. It has nothing to do with auto insurance. You hear me loud. And those who are responsible, that's what we want. These companies to be responsible business corporations. And it doesn't make sense to target the working class communities and to ask them, because of based on our postal codes, to pay higher premiums. And that's wrong. And Abdul, you can hear me now? Good, that's great. And because of these, we need to make sure that we work with these auto insurance companies to tell them auto insurance should not be based on postal codes. And I've met people who are paying 700, 500 every month. How are they going to afford life? How are they going to afford life? It's not. This is also much of our municipalities in urban areas, especially GTA, and in some areas, especially affluent communities, they pay less. We have evidence. In our community, on average, annually, people are paying 3,000 or more. And that is not right. We need to tackle auto insurance, and definitely I am prepared to work with anyone to make sure that our auto insurance goes down, and this government can do it. Ford Conservatives can do it by simply slashing 50% immediately and right away. And they haven't done so. And this is the same story with Kathleen Wynne promises that hasn't been kept. We've also heard about her promise about the electrification of Up Express. She campaigned on 2014 right here in our community, and also all along the corridors, so right here on Kitchener corridor and in our community here, and still the trains that passing through our community are diesel, and it's not clean, and these are a diesel polluting in our environment, and we can do it. It will allow us, by electrifications, it will allow us to actually have more stops and giving more opportunities, more stops, more stations along the way to continue. And that's exactly what we want to do. As you know, also we had a bill to electrify clean trains now, and because the House was brogued, and now all the bills are gone. So we have to work on to reintroducing them to make sure that we also create a fair integration as well, and also electrifications of the trains that passes in our community. Yes, of course, the auto insurance is a big issue, and thank you for your question. And we have also tabled bills. We have debated about it. You can check it on Hansard. I've also spoken about it every other day on our every week. I have always talked about this issue, and will make sure that we will fix this once and for all. And NDP government will tackle this crisis, especially the issue of postal code discrimination, and it's not right. Well, you're welcome, Abdul. Hope that answers your question as well. Well, folks, I know that the weather has been a beautiful October last week, and I think this week also. I hope it continues this beautiful weather October, which has been a record history in Ontario and also in Toronto. So that was a beautiful, and hope you're doing fine. And if you guys have any concerns, don't wait Friday. You can actually write to me, fhassan-co@ndp.on.ca, or you can phone me 416-243-7984. And also, if you want also to get involved, to sign up as a volunteer, to donate, to get involved, you can also check it ysw.ondp.ontarionDP.ca. Go there and you can contribute. Every dollar counts, folks, as well. And here we have quick comments. And Rack says, finally gets his follow. He is a huge fan. I'm really happy for him. He's been volunteering for years. Fantastic. I'll be following him as well. Thank you. And no worries about that. Well, folks, I join you every Saturday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I will be joining you again next week to talk to you about the important issues of the week, and also hear your concerns and your questions as well, and also your comments sometimes as well. And next week also I will be reporting back on Friday to talk to you about the Ontario legislature, because I'm going to go back there to also hold the government accountable, but also to pressure them to make life affordable, and to also make sure that you have strong representations. And we'll do that. And also I will be able to also report to you Friday the same time at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And also our office is also open by appointment only now. The constituency staff are back, but they're only taking by appointments. So if you want to also book an appointment, you can email or you can phone or you can drop by, but make sure you phone first and also book an appointment to see our constituency. If you want to meet with me, it's not a problem. If I am at the office and you drop by, I'll be happy to meet with you, okay? Or you could make an appointment and I'll be happy to also meet with you to listen to your concerns. And if you have any issues pertaining to provincial jurisdiction, I'll be happy to deliver them results for you, to make sure that we fight for you. Well, folks, I will be joining you again next Friday, the same time. And those of you who have just joined, CCM Elite says, amazing. Well, thank you for joining. And also Ayana also just joined. Ayana is also children's writer, children books writer, and she has also written a beautiful book, and also she has also producing another one. Please support our local writers like Ayana Francis. You can visit also her website, and also make sure that we need also books that also reflect diversity of our province. And Francis, Ayana Francis have done a fantastic job. We actually had a virtual town hall meeting to talk about that specific book, and we had fun together by doing that. And folks, and also she was very generous also actually giving me a copy of her book, and we thank her for that as well. And folks, if you can also support her, please do so. Thank you. And the website is travelingfeetbooks.com, and that is travel is TRAVELLING, fit continues FEET books.com. So there is where you can also, if you want the book, you can order there. Support our talented children's books writer, and she has actually done a fantastic book. You can also learn from there, that website as well, and that is travelingfitbooks.com. Well, folks, that's it for me now. I will be looking forward to joining you again next Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And folks, until then, stay safe, and you don't have to wait Fridays. If you have any questions, or you can write to me, fhassan-co@ndp.on.ca. Until then, folks, thank you for joining me, and I look forward again seeing you, brothers and sisters, and neighbors and friends, next Friday at the same time from 7 to 8 p.m. Thank you then.